Afternoon, everyone. Slightly more surprising than I thought this was going to be. I hoped we'd do this last night in and around 7 o'clock, as has been the trend for Leeds over the course of this summer. Or wait till tonight to do it at 7 o'clock. But no, Leeds United did it literally as I was editing today's video. And honestly, I wasn't going to go back in and record it all over again. So, and if there is a slight lag on this, just let me know. I'm looking at the screen here and it does appear to be a tiny, tiny lag. But if there is, let me know. And if it's bothering you, let me know. And if it's not, then we'll crack on anyway. If you do want to be involved in the conversation, the chat today, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. The chat is for subscribers, so you can do all that. You can hit the like button if you want to help this to get out to other people and spread the love. You can do all of that. And we've got a lot to talk about. Nico Elvedi has joined Leeds United. This one, there's been this running trend over the course of this summer with Leeds United where it's player agrees deal. 5 to 9 days later, player turns up in a Leeds United shirt. We joked about it last night on the match view with Jerry and Paul talking about this, but we got it done, and there does appear to be logical reasons, and Leeds just being 100% careful that everything was done with the outgoings before the incomings come in. And I suppose we may as well talk about Joe Peru and Sebastian Bornau as well in the course of this. If you've got any questions, stick them in the chat. We'll get to them towards the back end of this as well. We will jump in. You can see your little chats down there in the corner. Sorry, I'm a little bit later than I said I was going to be. I had to update the date to the 19th because there's always somebody in the chat that will point out that it's the wrong date or the wrong time or the wrong day, or, you know, stuff that's there for a visual but not overly important. But there is all that tiny lag, but it's okay, says Phil. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, but look, I hope you're all having a great day. Number 4 in the door for Leeds United. It's a positive one for me as well. This goes all the way back to December 31st, 2024, when Leeds first had interest in Nico Elvedi. He was likely one of the players on Daniel Farke's shopping list from very early on when he first came into Leeds. But it's, you know, what it is. We got him finally, and the Leeds again have shown that, I'm going to say repetition there, Leeds have shown that trait to go back in for players that they have been interested in the past. He's one of a long list now of players that Leeds have shown interest in and then had to go back a couple of years later. And again, we talk an awful lot about the lists of transfers that Leeds are looking at. I always think that the names being linked are definitely parts of shortlists, and that at the very minimum, Leeds have inquired about how much these players will cost before they then go and make their moves for players. And that's why they come out as being linked to Leeds United. And then Leeds make the final decision on which ones they want to go for. But Elvedi did pop up towards the back end of the season again this year. He popped up in December, again this last December, January last season. And he's popped up again. And this one's finally gotten over the line. And he comes in as a direct replacement for Sebastian Bornau. But he does also have a lot more versatility to him than Sebastian Bornau, which we will go through in a bit of detail. John says, tends to be a lag if you're waiting for the stream to start. It's StreamYard. It looks like it's slowly sorting itself out. But the last couple of weeks, again, I don't know what's going on with it. There is sound, Russell. Someone tell Russell there is sound, because we're all having a chat here. Farkley's finally got his man. Good evening, Rap Music. I hope you're well. Yeah, so we'll go into it in a bit more detail, then we'll get to your comments. So Nico Elvedi joins Leeds United. He's officially a Leeds United player. We'll go through his statement that's come out from the club. We'll also talk about what he has said about joining Leeds United. Sounds okay? I knew it was, Ali, because we're all having a chat here. Russell must be on mute. Pardon, Jer, all silent for me. Well, obviously it's not Pierre. Right, okay, so fourth signing of the summer. It's another defender, so Leeds still do need to do a bit of work in the attacking end of the park for me, especially with Joel Peru heading towards West Ham. That at least signals to me that Leeds are close to or working on a replacement for Peru. Again, Leeds have not tended to let players go out the door unless there was somebody coming back in. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm going to stop looking at the chat because it's distracting me slightly, but we'll get to your comments in a couple of minutes. Leeds' statement on this one. So, Leeds have put out a post, and I'll go through it in a bit more detail with you. So, getting to know the latest Leeds United signing, bringing a vast amount of experience to Leeds United squad. The latest addition, Nico Elvedi, who has put pen to paper on a 3-year deal at Elland Road. The defender joins the club from Bundesliga outfit Borussia Mönchengladbach, where he enjoyed a stellar spell that has spanned over a decade in German's top flight. Below are 8 facts and figures about the latest edition. I'm not sure we're going to go through all those facts. Anyway, we'll get to his comments because he's very excited about joining Leeds United. Elvedi said, I'm very excited. As I said, I'm very happy to be here. Everything is done and I can't wait to play for this club. I know Leeds has a big history. Manchester United is also a big rival, so we will try our best to beat them this season. Great line. Well done. You've endeared yourself to the audience already. And it's such a big club and amazing fans. And I also can't wait to play in the stadium with the fans. I saw some videos from the stadium, from the fans, and I loved it. Everyone told me it's a special moment to go through the tunnel and see that atmosphere. And I can't wait to see that. He went on then slightly later on to say he spoke to Noah Okafor. He said, I talked to Noah a little bit, and he just told me good things about the club and the fans. So yeah, I'm happy we talked about the World Cup. We talked at the World Cup about the club as well. So this is going back to the start of the summer. He also spoke with Daniel Farke, who he played for a season when Farke was managing Mönchengladbach. And he said, I talked to the manager. I know him. I know him as well. Yeah. And he was a big point for the change. It was just 1 year, but I loved him as a manager and I learned a lot from him then. And I will learn a lot from him now. He said it's a big step, but I think it's a step that I need. I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited, yeah. And we'll find that this is the best league in the world. Everything is faster and stronger. And I think I have a good team this season. And I think we can reach big things this season. We will see where we end up. So, yeah, another experienced player, another leader, another captain coming in to the Leeds United squad. Huge amount of experience. He does book the trend this year on the younger profile of player. But I think given what Leeds are looking for at the back, bringing in such a young player like Tariq Muharramovic, maybe adding another experienced player to that back line makes sense. And it's probably a bit of a change back line as well because you've got two players coming in there. So, yeah, look, for me, I think it's a really, really good sign. Signed a 3-year deal at the club, £6.8 million transfer fee with an additional £1.7 million in add-ons should they all be achieved. Leeds' total summer spend is £80 million right now. However, that's not how SCR works. Leeds probably actually haven't spent £80 million. That'll likely be spread out over the length of the contract, so it's probably less than that. And the net spend from Leeds, if you take the sales and purchases, is about £50 million. Again, that will be spread out over a period of time, so not exactly how the SCR model will work on this, but just gives you an indication of where Leeds are shopping and what ballpark they're in right now. Leeds wanted to get Elvedi in the door before they sanctioned the exit of Sebastian Bornau. That has now happened, and he has gone off to play for HSV or Hamburg SV. And he's very confident about his option because he said goodbye to the Leeds United fans in a very nice statement. Again, as Elvedi said, he's got a relationship with Daniel Farke. He played 34 times for Farke in the Bundesliga in the 2022-2023 season. He also captained the side during parts of that season as well. He was the vice captain of Gladbach last season and was also given the vice captaincy again going into this season prior to his sale. 73 Swiss caps as well and played every minute of their World Cup campaign. So this is the guy coming in the peak of his powers, in the pomp of his career. Huge amount of experience, over 300 appearances, in the Bundesliga. He's got 15 Champions League games under his belt, and he scored 19 goals and got 13 assists as well over the course of his career. Now, he's 29 years of age, but he is 30 next month. And the structure of the deal is interesting because it is 6.8 million, but there is a 15% sell-on clause. But I don't really think that's one that's going to impact Leeds in any major way because by the time that contract expires, he'd be 32 going on 33. So you're probably looking at the lower end of the transfer fees at that stage. Anyway, I'll give you a look at his statistics. People do like a bit of stats, and I like a bit of stats. You know, just something to go off of, just so you can have a little bit of a look at who you're getting for our money this summer. And we'll talk about the versatility as well, because obviously the concern is the left-sided centre-back for a lot of people. But I'll pop that up there. I'll turn off the chat in a sec. And I'll just turn off the chat for a couple of seconds, so I'll still see your comments. But there you go. Just gives you a bit of an indication of who we're getting. You can see his heat map there is more central and right, but he has played on the left-hand side as well. His numbers are really, really good. You look at his player traits in the top left-hand corner there, what kind of player you're getting. Good on the ground, very comfortable, defensive contributions, an out-and-out defender, more so than anything else. Not bad on the successful passes either. 92% passing accuracy, which is huge. When he has played on the left, by the way, and when he has been building up from the left-hand side, he's got an 88.6% passing accuracy. So he's comfortable being on the left-hand side as well. He's also, by the way, played as a right-back as well. And if you look at his career in the bottom right-hand corner there at Gladbach, plenty of games under his belt, gets the odd goal every season, the odd assist, but he is coming in primarily to make sure we don't concede goals. His tackles are there, his blocks are there, his XG is 49.9 of an XG. Good clearance numbers as well, good ball recoveries as well. €4.3 million was his valuation on FotMob. that's just a valuation. That doesn't actually really matter. And and he'll join the club. We'll see what number he picks up as well. There's a couple of free numbers floating around now for the club. But so on where he can play and what he can do, he is primarily a right-sided centre-back. So he is a very much a direct replacement for Sebastian Borneo. But he is also comfortable playing in the centre of a back three. And then you've got Jakobiol, who can play on the left-hand side of a back three comfortably as well. Played there for Udinese and plays there for Bosnia from time to time. So you've got a bit more flexibility in those positions. Joe Rodon can obviously play right side or centre. So you've got that fluidity there that would be very beneficial to Daniel Farke. And it might mean that Leeds don't need to go out and actually buy a left-sided centre-back, that BL can just pop over there if we get an injury and Elvedi can go into the centre. And that's still a very strong central defence. And then you add James Trafford at the back behind them to that as well. And for me, it's looking like a really, really solid defence. And that'll be massively important not to concede goals this year. But we do need to also, by the way, try and get someone on the other end of the park should the worst case scenario happen for Leeds. Anything else we're talking about on this one? 6'2" in height. For me, it's a top signing for Leeds. And if you listen to the commentary going around about this, there's a lot of people are saying this is a sensational transfer for Leeds, and especially at the price that we're getting him for. He is a fit lad. He is a big lad. He'll actually look pretty small compared to the rest of the Leeds United centre backs. But I'm 6'4", he's 6'2". He's still a big boy. So again, more height there for Leeds as well. And again, another senior figure going into the dressing room and the right character that Leeds want as well. He is eligible to play against Nottingham Forest this weekend to add to that as well. So, yeah, look, it's really good. It's a very good signing for me. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm sure most people are as well. Now, I've got to fix that background there. Give me one moment because I'm not making a mess of something here now. I should be here. Here we go. Sorted. We'll stick your comments back on screen now as well. There we go. We'll jump into the comments in a second as well. So, yeah, there you go. So, he's in the door. He is confirmed. We do have just less than, when is the window closing? Is it the first, the second? Yeah, first. Tuesday the 1st. We've got one, including today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days. 14 days. And we still probably need 3 players, I think. Whether we get them or not, that is the big question, isn't it? We'll jump into your comments. We'll start off with the latest ones and we'll work backwards. So Agent Smith says, fantastic bit of business for Leeds. I would agree. Rad Music says, I actually think our defence will be the envy of most clubs in the division, honestly. Clive says, evening all. What have I missed? We signed a player, Clive. Have to catch up, mate. Pierre says, I love the potential flexibility of that defensive team. I would agree with you, mate. Solid figures. He will be great for us, I think. I would agree with that as well. Where's next for a player? Left wing back. I think we need left wing back cover. I'd like to see us bring in a top striker to give Dominic Calvert-Lewin competition. And if he does get injured, have someone that can back that up and replace him. Luke says, cheers. Got to head back to work now. Well, enjoy your afternoon, Luke. Thank you for the super chat, all boxed up. Really appreciate that. Great informative shows every time. Big up to you. I appreciate that, mate. Thanks very much. Owen is here. RD Kinders says, good signing, but we need some fresh legs up front. We do. But it's still important to get the ones in when you can get them in. Brad Music says, and was captain, wasn't he? He was. He's another leader to add to that extensive amount of former captains that are now playing for Leeds United. Meiji says, hi, Jay, really impressed with the incoming players so far, and maybe an attacker or wing back to come. We'll have a great squad. I think so as well. And also the likes of Willie Nanto's had a really strong preseason. Sean Longstaff's had a very strong preseason. All of a sudden, starting to look a bit bigger and better again there as well. PBDS says, get all the late signings to play in the Carling Cup against Forest next week. That's likely going to happen. Pierre says, are there any in the established team that only have 12 months left on their contracts? Brendan Aronson, but I believe he's been offered a new deal. Ilya Gruev. I think that's it now. Peru was the other one, but he's got an extension that they can activate. That's all the news. By the way, if you haven't watched today's Leeds news, we didn't talk about Nico Elvedi at all. He was a massive solid. And go and check out the news today as well, because this is going to mess it all up. Mizzy says, great business. I agree. All boxed up. Big up, Jer. Great news on Elvedi. Kershaw, good afternoon, pal. Hope you're well. It's so important that we don't lose any of our best players before deadline day. Villa, for example, with Konza and Watkins. I think Villa are trying to get some of their... My brother's a Villa fan, so we talk about this. I think they're trying to get some of their higher wage players off their books because of the deals that were done in the past have really haunted them with their SCR in Europe over the last couple of years. So they're kind of more replacing players than just losing players. And again, I was at the Villa game with my brother last year, and the amount of abuse that Watkins got from their own fans. So Don't think they'll be overly sad to see him go, but they're rebalancing their books. So, but yeah, I agree with you. We can't lose any of our main players. Totally Far Out says, hey folks, big hi from India, big LUFC fan, MOT, first time catching the live update. Hi, Jer. And great work. Love your channel. My go-to for all Leeds. Well, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching me. We get a lot of people from India watching the channel, so there's a lot of Leeds fans in India as well. So great to have you there. Ash Black says, brilliant news. Another one over the line. Pierre, I agree with you, Jer, about the loans. If you want to buy, this is this for players brought in under other owners? Yeah. I think, by the way, the loans, we're getting £4 million up front for Joe Pirou. That detail is in today's news as well. Russell says, a steal at that price. Well done, Leeds. World's White says, have more players gone out than have come in? Isaac Schmidt, Max Verber, Pascal Stroke, Ilan Melier, Joe Pirou, Joe Gelhardt. Who am I missing? Carl Darlow. Easy one to forget where he's gone, isn't it? That's 7. Sure, there's somebody else in there as well, and we brought in 4. I think like Reece Chadwick will be part of the squad this year. I think Daniel Farke likes him, and he wasn't involved during 21s, nor was Rory Mahadi, and nor was Callum Mills. So I think that they could be in around the squad this year as well. Ms. Good day from Australia. One goes out, then one comes in. 2 went out this morning, but yeah, hopefully there's 2 coming in pretty soon. Yeah. Stephen Underwood said it's all good for me. That's the sound question. All coming together, Jer. Hoping they go for Antonio Nusa next. He's a player. That's from Joshua. Oliver says, go out and come. Oh, that's for the sound. Okay. Do you think Rodon will be a challenge to Bogle as Elvedi sounds? Look, I think Joe Rodon is one of our best players. Again, there was a narrative started this summer that I don't know where that one came from. I think he's a phenomenal player for us. I wouldn't be in a rush to get rid of him at all. But I think it's really healthy to have strong competition. And from Daniel Farke's perspective, I think it's very important that when he's picking his match day squad, he's looking at players with real question marks over who gets in and who doesn't. And then when he needs to use his bench, when he turns around and looks at that bench, that he sees players that are starters and putting real pressure and competition on the players that are in that starting line. And if he gets to that situation, then that means Leeds have got a really strong squad. So very, very good for me. T-Rex Leeds Forever says, morning, Jer, from the West Palm Beach, Florida. Lovely. First time live. Keep up the great work. Love your daily updates. I really appreciate you watching me, mate. Thanks very much. Bracker finally got his man. He did, Agent Smith. He absolutely did. Right, we'll get to some of the newer comments as well. We'll try and work back again. There's loads of people coming in. If you are watching the video, if you could stick a like on it. If you're not subscribed and you want to chat, the chat is for subscribers. So if you do want to get involved in the chat, just hit the subscribe button and you can come in and have a chat with us. Rad Music says, now go and get the ball. Get right again. It's like Max Aaron's on that, the Ryan Kent Memorial link. Yeah. Andrew says, top news. Need a couple more. We do. Mizzy said, midnight here, sadly. Saturday night, bring it on, sorry. And let's get 3 points. That's for the weekend's game. T-Rex Leeds Forever says, 49ers have done an incredible job in getting rid of the fringe championship players and upgrading to Premier League level. More firepower up front, and we should be looking good. Looking at Europe. I don't want to get to Europe just yet, and that's because of SCR, because that will reduce our spending power from 85% of our football revenue to 70% of our football revenue. Pragmarate spoke about that as well and wanting to make sure we have the stadium upgrades there so it doesn't impact us that much. So we'll see. Leeds fan 1919, morning, Jer from Australia. How are you doing? Got early morning there for you. 8 out, 4 in. Thank you, Dodo. Clive says, we're a team of internationals now. Well, that's going to be another part for this season. We haven't always been great after international breaks. We're adding a ton more international level players, which is good on one side, but we need to make sure we can actually react to it as well. Backup keeper and a striker would make this one of our best windows ever. I think it's right up there. Right up there. Chris says, how about Tati coming the other way? Wouldn't you love to see that? I mean, Tati's interesting because he wasn't spectacular in Italy, but I watched a lot of West Ham. We did a lot of watch-alongs last year on West Ham because of where they were in the league compared to us. And I think he'd suit Leeds down to the ground. He's an absolute pressing monster. The work rate he gets through, and he's got a whopper of a strike in him as well if he gets a half a chance. I'm surprised he's still at West Ham, but I don't think West Ham will be getting rid of him because they need strikers. And the whole point of bringing Pirou in is they lost Callum Wilson. They're a bit light in that area. But I'd absolutely go for Tati Castellanos. I think he's a cracking player. And he's proven he can do it in the Premier League. Big up, Jer. Tent is good. Yeah, I'm the same. I think Tent will be really, really good. Shane Dalton, good afternoon to you, Shane. Hope you're well. You're out and about today, I'm sure. All right, Jer. Hope you're keeping well. Been to a couple of preseason games. Squad and additions is looking good. Absolutely delighted Trafford is a Leeds player now. Rodon has looked amazing in pre-season. It just gets better and better for me. Pierre says, in the championship, Daniel Farke had a very enviable bench. He appears not to get close to that in the Premier League. Yeah, and I think that's a factor in when he makes his changes and how he makes his changes. I think the fact that maybe he looks at that bench and doesn't overly trust it. I think he's taking his time with Willie Gnonto, and maybe we're starting to see more of him. I think the new system and the way Leeds are attacking down that right-hand side really, really plays in to Gnonto's strengths. So hopefully we see more from him. Pat Kirby says, yeah, let's have another solid year. But not quite Europe yet. Best thing. Yeah, a top 10. Fine for me. That's a great point about the international breaks, Jared. Didn't think of that. Yeah, we don't have a great track record. It got better last year, but still a bit of work to do on that one. Getting them back in and, not sacrificing a game. Yorkshire Robert says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Robert. Andrew McCoy. He wasn't last game. He didn't play the last game. I mean, that makes it a bit more interesting, doesn't it? That is interesting. Yeah, I'd like him. Smash the peeps. Smash the like peeps. Don't smash the peeps. Leave the peeps alone. Totally fair. It said, excellent window so far. Only real disappointment was Julian Brad. Yeah. And I've watched a bit of him in the preseason as well. He's looked really, really good. We would love, wouldn't we? We'd love Pablo Hernandez replacement 3-4 years after Pablo left. Agent Smith said, Tati is a workhorse. He'd be great in our team. I just think he suits Daniel Farke's system perfectly. Just, in that extra body behind working and probably a better finisher than Brendan. Although Brendan Aronson's had a very good preseason as well for Leeds. So there he gets on. Get number 10 in, and we don't need an Irish Parrot. Well, Parrot looks like he's gone to Betis. So that looks like it's done. Always a great job, Jared. Listen to you every day from San Antonio, Texas. I'd love to move to Texas. Myself and my wife keep looking at houses in Texas. They're massive and they're cheap. Mixie says, happy with the signing. A couple more would be perfect from Australia. Michael says, afternoon, Jared. Good afternoon. Shane says, yeah, been a busy man. Back to normal now here. Really looking forward to the season starting next weekend. By the way, our watch-alongs are back this season as well. So we will do the first few watch-alongs on YouTube because bigup.com is being upgraded and updated. So it's shut down for a little bit. It'll be open in a few weeks' time. So we will have our watch-alongs on Saturday and they'll be over on YouTube. If you haven't caught them before, you can come and check it out. And then we're going to go back to bigup.com once it's back up and running. Top 10 all day long. Afternoon, everyone. Kevin here, afternoon. I do, by the way, need to do a shout out. I said I would do this. It was a bad bit of news came in yesterday. I need to read this comment there properly. I forgot to put it in the news. And it was Joe Bannister. It's coming from his dad. Joe Bannister had a bit of an accident in his work. He's a tree surgeon, yes, and he ended up in the ICU at Hull Royal Infirmary with some spinal injuries. So you watched the news video yesterday morning. We just want to wish Joe Bannister a very, very speedy recovery and hope that he is okay in the next couple of days. Nasty one, and fingers crossed you're going to be okay, Joe. So want to make sure I called that one out. Alonso Mosley said, a footballer with 0 tattoos. He's covered in them. Is he? No, that's an AI image. Ignore that. Has he got no tattoos? Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's got one on his lower back. They were popular for a while. Wife is shouting at me. She has tattoos. Sorry. Clive says, any idea when the third strip is going on sale? I believe it's this week. It usually comes out before the cup matches. It's going to be that black one. I don't like the Red Bull logo and colour on it. I'd like it in grey, but, look, we want with them, do we? Chris Golf Clash says, do a great job with all the transfer videos. I've not been this excited since I saw Tony Curry sign from Sheffield United all those years ago. Nigel Martin was the one for me. And when I saw Trafford signing this summer, I got a lot of vibes around that as well. I think we're building something quite nice there. Jer, who you like us to sign that's available? Well, everyone's available at the right price, aren't they? What's the magic number? I don't know. The Ian Fleming stuff, not interested in that. The Lap, not interested in that. I wouldn't mind Castellanos if you could get him. I think he'd be a really, really solid option up front as well. I wanted Edward Spertzen, but we didn't get him. But yeah, I don't know. Russell Garnett says, wait until the stadium upgrades before European football. Absolutely. What was this chat about Firpo? So Junior Firpo's been made available to leave Betis. He didn't have a great season last year and they're going to sell him this summer. And people are saying, well, if we're looking for a left back cover, why not bring Firpo back? I think Junior Firpo got the perfect send-off at Leeds. I think we all remember what he looked like in the Premier League. So probably better we don't go back down that line. Stephen Miller says, any news regarding Peugeot? I believe he's off to Saudi Arabia. Shane says, heading over to a game against Forest. Proper football's back. I can't wait, mate. Andrew says, no Firpo, 28 games last season, out injured a couple. Yeah, and he does get injuries. He does. Davs says, don't think we get Leao. No, both of them look like they're heading towards Saudi Arabia. Leao was offered to AS Roma on top of all the other clubs he's been offered to, and they said no. Yorkshire Monkey says, afternoon, Jer from the sunny Tenerife. Great news on Elvedi. Defense has definitely been upgraded. I think so, yeah. Now let's get busy on the final third. Joe Donahue, great to see you coming out of Crow Park, Jer. Joe, are we talking? Did I talk to you going out of Crow Park? I was in a world of my own that day. I was so late getting to that match. Daniel Farke will go for one of the cups. I hope he does. Joe, did we speak? If we spoke, let me know, please. Shane Dalton says, hopefully Joe is okay and a speedy recovery. I really enjoy Big Up with you, but I'm a Max Leeds late, and that's absolutely fine. Max does a great job. I love Max. Max is a top guy. So no problem at all. I'm not trying to take people off anybody else. We're only doing it temporarily while Big Up's getting fixed. Big Up in the chat along with Jer always makes it interesting. Midgie says, it was strange to see so much quality coming off the bench in pre-season, and Willie was clearly working hard going forward, and back, fingers crossed he gets more minutes. Yeah, look, there's so many. That's Joe. Joe, I'm sorry. Yeah, we were chatting under the bridge. You were heading, but you were trying to find your way back to the south side, weren't you? Newtown Rangers was my club, by the way. I played for Newtown Rangers as a schoolboy and as a senior player. Dave Grogan was my manager, one of the best managers I ever played for as well. Mark Ennis as well. So some brilliant times at Newtown as a schoolboy and as a senior player as well. And nice to speak as always, Joe. Head was up my backside, Joe. Absolutely up my backside, but nice to see you again. Anyway, folks, I think we'll wrap it up there. We've talked for 27 minutes. No point in draining the ocean on this. Leeds have brought their fourth summer signing in. Fingers crossed there's one or two more to come in before the deadline next week. Parag Morate has talked about keeping pennies in the back pocket, free to be nimble should players that you may not be able to get during the window all of a sudden become available towards the end of the window. So it's pronounced Miggy. We've had this conversation before. I'm sorry, Miggy. Yeah, but thanks everyone for joining me today. If you could slap a like on the video. If you haven't checked out today's news, go and check it out because we didn't cover any of this in the news at all. It came out just as I was editing the news. So there we go. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Last night's podcast is available as well. You can check that out if you want it. And yeah, give us a subscribe and a like and a hype if you're watching on demand. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.